This is the HotelPlanner Tour, a pathway to glory for tomorrow's stars, where the very brightest prospects in golf compete on the road to Mallorca. It's a season-long points race played out on a global stage. Finish in the top 15 and secure your place amongst the game's elite by gaining promotion to the DP World Tour. This is where memories are made, dreams are realized, and futures secured. This is the HotelPlanner Tour. Welcome back to the HotelPlanner Tour, with 7 events completed and our European leg fully underway. Last time out, against the spectacular backdrop of the Catalan Pyrenees, home favourite Pablo Areño took the Challenge de Catalunya crown, defeating Denmark's Hamish Brown in a playoff. With that victory, Areño climbed into second place on the Road to Mallorca rankings, one ahead of England's Will Enifer in third, whilst MJ Duffy remains in pole position, hunting down a third win of the season, and with it, automatic promotion to the DP World Tour, as we head into our third event week on European shores. And it would prove to be a rather long week for some of our 2026 contenders, as several detoured en route to Denmark overnight from the mountains of Catalonia via the Surrey Hills of England, where Walton Heath hosted final qualifying for the 126th US Open. The prize? A place in the field at the world-renowned Shinnecock Hills, which last hosted the event in 2018, as HotelPlanner Tour alumni Brooks Koepka clinched his second US Open. 36 holes stood between the players and the third major of the season, with 7 spots up for grabs. Aiming to book a tee time at his National Open, fresh from a 7th top 10 finish this season, American Jared Hack.
Tired from a little bit of travel, and I got into the hotel about 10:30 last night, so I got 6 hours of sleep or so. I've been playing well, so I expected to give myself a chance. I told my buddy who's caddying for me if I could just pique our interest the whole day, for that number, it'd be nice. Use it as some practice for Denmark, because I might not get to see much of the course in Denmark just with late travels getting in there tomorrow.
Hack competed alongside Tapio, Pulkkanen and Callum Farr at Walton Heath before flying out to Denmark, with Pulkkanen coming closest to qualifying. However, the HotelPlanner Tour flag was flown high, as all 7 qualifying spots were clinched by former graduates, including 2025 stars Filippo Celli and Rocco Repetto-Taylor, and Nathan Kimsey leading the pack that will head to Long Island. Well, after that UK-based drama, attention turned to Scandinavia, where, situated on the outskirts of Denmark's 3rd largest city, is Odense Eventyr Golf, making a welcome return to the HotelPlanner Tour schedule. The venue is one of Denmark's best-rated championship courses, and last time out here, Andreas Halvorsen emerged victorious, winning by 3 shots in 2024. After making the onward journey from Walton Heath, Jared Hack was in a featured group that included Denmark's Hamish Brown. His compatriot Jonathan Goth Rasmussen clinched the title on home soil last season, and fresh from his second-place finish in Catalonia last week, Brown was hoping to confirm back-to-back Danish winners.
It was obviously good last week. It was decent in Italy the week before as well. All in all, I'm quite pleased with it. I'm just trying to stick with it, not get ahead of myself, and keep doing what I need to do. When I play good golf and I'm making birdies, I find myself quite hard to beat. I wasn't really that far off. I just hit a few bad shots at the wrong time. So I just sort of stuck with it and kept going. And Pablo hold a good putt on 18 in regulation play, and that's history pretty much.
2 wins in 2024 catapulted Brown to promotion to the DP World Tour. However, after a difficult 2025, he found himself back on the HotelPlanner Tour.
It was a good experience. I started off well. I thought I was just going to keep going, and then I sort of hit like a wall. So it's a hard learning curve, that, but I'm glad it happened, if you could say that, because I still enjoyed my time. I made some good friends. I saw some cool places and got the experience of what the DP World Tour was like compared to this, and I just want to get back out there.
An afternoon tea time saw Brown starting on the par 3 first hole in blustery conditions. He would open with a par before taking advantage of wind at the par 4 second hole and setting up a birdie chance. One of the home favourites off and running at 1 under.
Birdie is an easy hole. It's probably going to play the easiest of all the holes this week, I guess. There's no reason to go hard at it today because it's so much downwind. You're just trying to get it to the front. I decided to hit it on the 16th hole, which wasn't really the plan, but that's what happened. But it gave me a fairly good lead because I was on a tee box and I could prepare my lie and hit it to 10, 12 feet and make that. So easy peasy.
A fine start for the Dane, 2 under through 3 holes. But Brown would bogey the par 5 fourth hole before bouncing back with a fine approach downwind again into the par 4 fifth. Another gain took him back to -2. 4 consecutive pars would follow, which saw Brown go out in 34 as he then turned into the wind and the tougher back 9. There was birdie at 15, quickly followed by a drop shot at 16. A setback he shrugged off at the 17th.
Sometimes you just get over them, putts, and you think, this looks pretty good. And I kind of thought that, and I might have forgotten how hard I needed to hit it, because I think it would have been fairly far past the pin if I didn't hit the hole, but it did, thankfully. So I'll take that as a bonus.
A bonus indeed. However, Brown would eventually make a 3-putt bogey on the 18th to finish 5 shots behind Juan Salama, who fired an opening 65. At that stage, Danish hopes were pinned on a trio of Jeppe Christian Andersen, Martin Simonsen and Jonathan Goth Rasmussen in a tie for 5th, 2 shots back at 5 under par. Plenty to encourage Danish followers then heading into Friday, and relishing the prospect of a potential home winner was Ryder Cup star and DP World Tour winner Nicolai Højgaard, the world number 28, eager to savour some of the action.
We had great fun being on the tennis tour. We were hanging out with good friends every week and went out for dinners and was grinding to get to the next level, and that's what it's all about. It's about grinding hard to make it out on tour, and I'm excited to see the guys out here. So many good golfers, and the level is super high. So you got to get out there on this golf course and shoot a low number.
The Echo Tour, part of the wider Nordic Golf League, has been an important part of the Højgaard brothers' rise to stardom and a vital stepping stone for Danish golfers on their journey towards international competition. The twins became co-owners of Golf Promote, the parent company behind the Echo Tour, helping to organise both the Danish Golf Challenge on the HotelPlanner Tour and the Danish Golf Championship on the DP World Tour.
Hopefully I have a little impact on juniors and people to look ahead and say, if he could do it, I can do it. I'm hoping I have that impact because it means a lot knowing that if you can pave the way for the next generation or just a few players, that's what it's all about. It's nice to play well and achieve, but if you can give something back and see other players get motivated and achieve things, that's equally as satisfying.
But would there be further satisfaction to be found in the following few days? With the main Day 2 developments, Josh Antman.
It was a 68 in round 1 for Lars van der Veit, and he started strong on Friday, out in 31, which included an eagle at the 8th. This fine approach on 11 set up another chance for birdie. Just 23 years old, the young Dutchman. He'd roll this one in to get to double digits, eventually shoot a 65 and the early clubhouse lead at 11 under par. Javier Barcos Gabello started on the 10th. This on 4 set up a birdie and made it 6 birdies in a row for the Spaniard. A 66 on Friday for him and just 1 off the lead at the end of the day. Tapio Pulkkanen's only HotelPlanner Tour victory came 9 years ago at the Kazakhstan Open. That was for birdie at the 18th to post the low round of the day, a bogey-free 63, and he was just one off the lead too. It was a 67 on day one for Martin Simonsen. This fantastic approach on 16 would lead to a birdie, and a 66. He was tied for the lead at 11 under par, getting bunched on that leaderboard on Friday. The young Swede Algot Clean had a bogey-free 67 on Thursday. He's out in 34 in round 2 and came home strong with 5 birdies on his back 9, which included one on the 9th. Par 4 was proving extremely difficult for the players on Friday. So a rare birdie and another player got to 11 under par. Another Swede going well was Adam Wallin. He had no bogeys over the first 36 holes. And how about this on 18, the par 5? Hitting the base of the flagstick, a birdie there, and he'd be 10 under par and one back.
So the Swede found himself within a shot of fellow countryman Algot Clean, Denmark's Martin Simonsen and Dutchman Lars van der Veit, who were all tied at the top at 11 under par at the halfway stage in Odense. Welcome back to the HotelPlanner Tour, and we're in Denmark for the 8th event of the 2026 season. At the midway mark of the Danish Golf Challenge, a trio were tied at the top, with Lars van der Veit, Martin Simonsen and Algot Clean sharing the lead. Finland's Tapio Pulkkanen had posted the low round of the week so far with a sublime 9-birdie second round 63. He lay in a tightly bunched chasing pack, one shot back. But with moving day to come, what further wonders lay in store on Saturday?
Just one top 10 all year for Pulkkanen, and that came in Cape Town in February. He was looking good for win number 2 and started round 3 in the best way possible with this birdie on the opening hole. Made it a 4-way tie at 11 under par. Maxence Gibodot was 4 behind the leaders heading into the weekend, but he started with 4 birdies in his first 5 holes, then produced this, almost a hole-out eagle. He would birdie to tie the lead on 12 under par. One of those on that number was Lars van der Veit. He birdied 4 and then produced this approach at the very next hole, the par 4 fifth. Delightful from the Dutchman. Plenty were watching on Saturday. He converted the fine approach to tie Gibodot at 13 under par. Both looking for their maiden win on the HotelPlanner Tour. Pulkkanen, a winner 9 years ago. He was 2 under for the day up to this point on the 8th. And produced this moment of magic on the par 5. Barely see him from over that mound. Great look for eagle for the Finn, which he converted. And now he was the sole leader at 14 under par. Great move made by Pulkkanen. Turning into a bit of a 2-horse race on Saturday. Gibodot birdied 13 and then he tied Tapio Pulkkanen with this birdie at the 14th. Both of them 15 under par. And he would tie Tapio once again after this delightful touch on the par 5. Almost holding out for eagle. That made it 3 in a row for the 22-year-old. Pulkkanen went out in 31. He birdied the 10th. And then at the par 3, found a 2. He was now leading by 1 over Gibodot. Real battle on Saturday on moving day. Pulkkanen wasn't done there. And 14, rolled that one in for birdie. Just pulling away now, the Finn, leading by 2 at this point over the Frenchman. And then on 18, produced one of the shots of the week. He was absolutely nowhere there on the par 5, dead and buried. 5-wood stinger around the trees onto the green. First putt got to here, and a formality for birdie, a second consecutive 63 for Pulkkanen, and a 3-shot lead. Al got clean was living up to his name on Saturday. No bogeys in a 67 for the Swede. This is how he finished his round and got him to 16 under par and tied Gibodot in a share of second. Gibodot matching Pulkkanen with a 63.
Second 63 in a row, so it's a pretty good feeling, and kind of had a slow start. I made birdie on the first, but then I didn't birdie third, fourth, fifth, which are good birdie holes, and I thought it's tough to be a low one today, but then eagle on 8 and a couple birdies in a row, so it was great. I actually found it in Walton Heath a little bit, so I played a US Open qualifier on Monday and I started holding putts on the second round there. I just opened my stance a little bit so I can see the hole better, so that's kind of, I don't know, stroke feels great after that. So.
Confirmation that Tapio Pulkkanen would take a 3-shot lead into the final round in Denmark. And after matching that 63, Maxence Gibodot was sat in second place with Algot Clean. First round leader Juan Salama and Clement Sordet were a further shot back. Danish hopes were pinned to Martin Simonsen, who was tied 6th at this stage, but as Sunday dawned at the Danish Golf Challenge, a Finn was firmly in the driving seat.
And from Finland, Tapio Pulkkanen.
So hang on to your hats, as the battle for Scandinavian silverware headed for a climax. The question was, could anyone emerge from the chasing pack to spoil a Pulkkanen party 9 years in the making?
Scoring had been tricky on the final day. Only one golfer, Adam Wallin, in the last 6 groups was under par, but that was a lovely touch from Pulkkanen on the opening hole. A birdie for the Finn, and at that point had a 4-shot lead. All things looking good for Pulkkanen. Gibodot had 7 pars in a row to start the day, birdied 8, then conjured up this moment of magic on 9. That combined with a Pulkkanen triple bogey on 7 and a bogey there on 9, and Gibodot was the outright leader at the turn. Extraordinary turnaround. All of a sudden, Algot Clean had a chance at the title despite being 1 over for the day through 13 holes. That gave him a chance for birdie at the par 4. From about 15 feet out, he duly obliged into a share of second and 2 back of Gibodot. Juan Salama wasn't really in the conversation until this amazing hole out for birdie on 15 from the trees. Now on 17 under par, fist pump indeed, and he was just 1 back in solo second. It was a mixed day for Wallin, 3 bogeys but 7 birdies, the last coming on 18, and he posted the new clubhouse mark of 16 under par. Pulkkanen was 4 over for the day and needed something special in the back 9, and he found it on 15, the par 5, a monster eagle putt, and he was right back at it. He was now solo second and just 1 back, but Gibodot still had a putt for birdie to come. What a moment there from the 22-year-old. His lead was now 2 once again, with 3 holes to play. Blustery conditions, and Gibodot bogeyed 16, and then from long range on 17. Did well to 2-putt this one. Unbelievable, hit the middle of the pin and stayed out. So a par for him and Pulkkanen as they head down the last, with just 1 shot separating them. Pulkkanen an 8-iron from 183 yards. It was a monster drive down the par 5, and he found the putting surface. An eagle putt to come for the Finn. Gibodot was in trouble off the tee on the right-hand side. He was short of the green with his second. His third went to here, and so this was his birdie chip to get to 19 under par. It wasn't to be, so he had that to stay at 18 under par, and Tapio Pulkkanen had an eagle putt coming up. Incredible drama on the 72nd hole. He had the eagle on 15, but it wasn't to be. An eagle on 18 for Pulkkanen. Great effort from the Finn. So he had a couple of feet for birdie, which he'd make to get to 18 under par. And now all the pressure on Gibodot to take it to extra holes. He'd make it. Himself and Tapio Pulkkanen were heading for a playoff in Denmark.
Solama, Clean and Wallin were tied third, and Martin Simonsen did indeed finish as leading Dane, albeit in a share of sixth. But we were heading back to 18.
So all the experience with Tapio Pulkkanen, but Maxence Gibodot is having a very consistent season.
Yep. Thanks.
All to play for in the first hole of the playoff. Par 5, remember, extremely blustery conditions late on Sunday. Both players found the green in 2, and it was Pulkkanen first with his eagle effort. Remember, just went by in regulation, but found the eagle in the playoff. Look at just what that means to Tapio Pulkkanen, and now all the pressure right back on the 22-year-old Frenchman Maxence Gibodot. This to extend the playoff, which he couldn't do. And 9 years after his last victory on the HotelPlanner Tour, Tapio Pulkkanen is a winner once again.
Yeah, great feeling after all. It's like a roller coaster day today. I started okay, birdie on 4th, then triple on 5th, and I was like shocked, and I played like 3 next holes really badly, and made some nice finish, eagle on 15 and birdie on 18 and eagle in the playoffs, so I'm happy right now. That was almost a 10-year anniversary from the last win, so I'm good that I won now, so I'm trying to chase for another one.
Well, there's no change at the top of the Road to Mallorca rankings, with two-time winner MJ Duffy still leading the way. But Tapio Pulkkanen rises to 4th place following his long-awaited second HotelPlanner Tour title. Gibodot tucked in just behind. Sweden's Adam Wallin in 10th after his tied 3rd finish. But the race to take one of those top 15 promotion places is really starting to heat up. So after Tapio Pulkkanen's long-awaited return to the winner's circle, it's curtained down on our time in Denmark. Instead, sights are set on Spain, as the HotelPlanner Tour returns to the sizzling southern coast next time, where the pursuit of promotion to the DP World Tour continues.